Britannia had risen to one of the strongest nations in the world. This, however, didn't make it immortal, and not long after being on the top of its power, civil war threatened to destroy the mighty empire. But if we act now, we can still save it. We have to, because after all, we are still the heirs of Rome. Candido, Dragoon, and Aurelius convinced the Senate with their proposals. The vassals were to be pacified by marriages, and the military goal was to conquer Gaul and to secure the trade node in Lyon. But last but not least, J. Ramsier found it suspicious that Aurelius was still alive after so many years, and the Senate agreed that he had to be a vampire.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
What is happening here? What the? Times have changed. Literally. Because the mod got an update, finally. But the old game file still works. So, yeah, if you are interested in the update, check out the TheFallenEagle YouTube channel. They got a real good video up there. I had to stabilize the economy, because right now it was only a shadow of its former self. Once I managed that, I wanted to make the first advances towards Lyon, which at this point was controlled by Francia. I also had to increase the opinion of my vassals, because otherwise the diplomatic policies would fail, and that would be a real disaster. The overall control was pretty low meanwhile, which of course also infected the economy. The next years passed, and I built buildings and oppressed vassals, and in the end it paid off. The income was not as high as it used to be, but at least it was stabilized for the time being, and so I went to the first war against Francia. The immense costs were not bad as long as I could decide the war quickly, and fortunately I was able to do that, and so things slowly started to look up. Also, the diplomatic policies were safe for the time being and did not threaten to collapse, but it should become even better. Egypt had collapsed further, and they had just lost the European part of their empire. I immediately took advantage of this and started a campaign against Austrasia, which now controlled Egypt's fallen areas. I could win a decisive victory, and so my control and influence grew steadily in Gaul. Likewise, I continued developing my cities and further strengthened the economy, only to continue my conquest in Gaul a little later. Slowly but surely, Gaul became a solid part of my empire. To secure it further, I strengthened it additionally with legions. The next few years were peaceful, but something big was still in planning. And soon, a new empire was established, and I named it the Northern Roman Empire, because Britannia was by now almost more Roman than Italy itself. Further wars against Francia brought me closer and closer to Lyon. Since I was now emperor, my royal court had also changed, and it was now at least as large and powerful as the one in Rome. But disrupting news followed from the east. Egypt had regained its old strength, and now also wanted its old empire back, which could slow down my advance into Gaul if they managed to do so. So I now turned my focus to conquering Lyon and the trade node there. Yeah, they they gave up as they saw 15,000 men. They looked above the walls and there were like 15,000 high developed soldiers standing, and they were like, okay, fuck it, we're out. Okay, take what you want. We're not doing this. Nope, we're out. Of course, I also improved this one immediately. Over the next few years, more wars followed, which meant that the Gallic population was much more mixed than the Britannic population. But thanks to all the efforts, the economy was now slightly going up again. And most of my vassals were very happy with me, which is why I had few problems with factions or uprisings. Austrasia had survived the attack by Egypt and had now counterattacked. Egypt is again... Oh. 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 Okay, we're at war against Italy. The wannabe Romans. In addition, they had allied themselves with Italy, which I had not noticed when I had declared war on them. But fortunately, Italy did not cause any problems. Oh, they're disappearing. Thanks, Rome. However, as if from nowhere, Egypt suddenly returned. Due to their conflict with Austrasia, they were significantly weakened. Aurelian built more buildings, and soon afterwards, he died. Aurelius IV now came to the throne. Fortunately, the change of rulers went without major problems, and there were no uprisings or anything like that. So Aurelius continued where his father had left off, and conquered more territories back into Roman hands. Once he started a religious war, but since it was a religious war, neighboring kingdoms could also fight, and Egypt did just that. But the battle against Egypt turned into a crushing, catastrophic defeat, in which the entire Egyptian army was wiped out. And after this glorious victory, the war was also quickly won. Next, I strengthened the bloodline and made further arrangements to facilitate expansion. More wars followed. Aurelian had a book made about the glorious I can't speak English. About the glorious history of its family. God damn it. Aurelian had a book made about the glorious history of his family. Finally. And Gaul was almost back in Roman hands. If it continues like this, the Roman Empire will rise again, my senators. Oh yeah, and don't forget to check out my Discord server, link is in the description.